пути развития креативного предпринимательства.
Creative Management, Economics of the Future. I am Oleg Ivanov. I am head of the Department of Production in Gnesin Musical Academy and head of Research Center in Cinema Institution of the High School of Economics. That's why I'm very much involved in the matters related to creative industries. Today I will be moderating this session, and I will have Dmitry Kotov as a co-moderator, who is the director of the High School of Creative Industry in Plekhanov University. Let us welcome the speakers. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to welcome you. Thank you for coming and taking interest in creative industries. We've been trying to understand more about these professions, and we invited people with extensive experience in creative industries. We will talk of certain trends in this area. Let me please present the speakers for this panel. Who will be our guests? First is Natalia Ivanova-Dostoevskaya, Deputy Director for Development of Educational Programs in Plekhanov University, producer of animation cinema. Daria, I love her second name, Daria Yoda. She's coordinator of network projects in Taurida, art residences. It's in different regions, so Daria has been coordinating that. Let's welcome her at this panel. Anastasia Semyonova, Deputy Director of Art Masters Project. Elena Kiper, musical and movie producer. Elena Kiper, production founder. She's been working with television and numerous TV channels. So even the two words Elena Kiper are already known, you know. Igor Makonov, General Director of the Federation of Creative Industries. And last but not least is Alexei Pomykanov, General Director of Meta Universe. We will speak of what is Meta Universe today. A couple of hours ago, I told you that I do not know 100% what is creative industry. The more you work in this area, the more questions you have what it is about, what is the main essence. When people say creative entrepreneurship, my question is, what is the difference from entrepreneurship here? Some time ago, we've been talking on social entrepreneurship. So if we speak of social, creative entrepreneurship, well, for me, it makes a certain kind of confusion. If we speak of legislation, entrepreneurship means profit. Profit is something that accountants know better about than the business people themselves. So in other words, what is happening in this industry? What is the main goal of all of the projects, of all of the companies? How does it look like? Creative entrepreneurship for me is also a puzzle, same as creative industry. So let me start in this connection. Let's discuss what we do not understand in this industry. I believe I will address this to Igor. Igor is a person who was involved in these industries in Moscow and other regions of Russia. He has better feeling, better understanding what is a creative entrepreneur. Who are these people? Hello. We have been involved in this work for many years, and this industry requires a big number of people of different professions. All the people who are involved in industry adjust to the existing situation, and there is no single script, there's no single scenario for this, because we all live in different cultural environments. But on the other hand, if we take some general approach, today the general understanding bases on several blocks, several major units. First of all, it is the classifier that distinguishes this area into 14 or 16 different types, depending on the country. For instance, gastronomy and cuisines are also in the list. Next pillar is cross contexts, meaning cross interaction of various industries and cross solutions. So let's take a craftsman who does not understand much about IT or something. He cannot digitalize his work and make it closer to meta universe. That's why this person cannot be called a creative entrepreneur, because there is a notion of creative property, intellectual property, and you need to defend it and manage something. You need to capitalize your activities due to non-material assets, non-tangible assets. So these are something in the crossways between culture, economics, digital world, and in this way we form this new culture, which is not yet in Russia. In Russia, we do not have the culture of intellectual property. I ask many companies to have they registered their trademark. Major companies with the big names, even they haven't yet registered their trademark. But does it form a real barrier for their business? No. So let's go tell them to register their trademark. So what kind of attitude can we face in this case? Yes, we can do that. Why not? There is no contradiction here. There is no conflict. You can do it or not do it. I'm just fixing the existing situation. I'm just speaking of the trend. It's not because we want it, because the time has come for this kind of registration. In 2005, a lot of things were not yet obvious, and you would not understand many things at that time, which are now part of our common life and common culture. We have a brand new economics right now as compared to those years. So now we have a reflection of the global demand for ideas, for big ideas. These ideas emerge at the borders of various industries, and we need to manage those ideas, regardless if you want this or not. We can ignore the situation, we can tell ourselves that we do not understand it, but in the end of the day it will happen regardless of our attitude to it, because this is part of various economic context, economic environments in many countries of the world. While we are discussing this right now, they already deal with this at the level of state budgets. Let me please finish. I want to express my emotion because unfortunately in many ways as a country we fall behind of other countries. Here we also see certain passive attitudes. In the recent years I've visited many countries of the former Soviet Union, and for instance in Kyrgyzstan and Kyrgyzia, I was amazed on their progress in this digital world and creative industries, and that's why it's very unfortunate to see that we are not very active in promoting that in this country. Igor was right to say that many companies have not yet registered their trademarks. We need to license this trademark, we need to scale it. This is a way to make money on creative aspects. When we speak of legislative basis for creative property, it's same as it would be in terms of administrative matter. Remember, Shnurov said, if plants do not operate, it doesn't mean that musicians do not operate. So here, if we speak of imagination, it is not about imagination only, it's about making this imagination part of economics. If you do not form this legal basis, the product that you have invented would vanish in the air, and you will not be able to sell it, although the product itself could be just great, but you haven't established the legal basis for that, and it means that you won't be able to capitalize on your idea. We have a project called Wonder Russia. In the end of spring, we will finish our studies in 5 major cities of Russia. We're looking at local entrepreneurs and studied Khanty-Mansiysk, Ulyanovsk, Nizhny Novgorod, Yakutsk, and Moscow. We see that people do not understand what they are doing. They produce a creative product, but they do not understand what to do with it. They even do not have any photos of their product, imagine. So this does not facilitate the process. This does not increase the number of people involved in the orbit of this process. That's why the ideas do not receive the audience, they do not get to the audience. Therefore, people get disappointed in these industries. Unfortunately, the productive facilities optimize their works, they automate a lot of processes, and a lot of people find it hard to find a job. A lot of people are now replaced by robots. So the question is, where will people go in this case? In the city of Baikalsk, for instance, one big company, one big factory closed. So what will these people have to do after they will go into the labor market? What can we offer them? It's a very big problem because production is financing, and production means that at the end of the day we need to have a product which should be sellable. I haven't yet heard about the substitution for such big factories, for such big production facilities that are closing. I've been dealing with this idea selling since 2003. In the first years, I've been telling all the people that it's not some rubbish, that it's not a joke, this is real thing that I'm selling. If we speak of music, it is considered intellectual product, but if we speak of other product, the perception of the general audience is not, I would say, fine-tuned to that. Unfortunately, in Russia, it's very often that a person who offers the idea is perceived as a person who is just joking, who is not doing something serious. That's why we need to explain people. We need to give some more explanations. That's why me, as a person who is the head of the federation, I communicate with various people who are not involved in creative industries. So my question to you, Alexei, is the following. What is your attitude to creative entrepreneurship?
Today I can say this because I'm attending the Creative Forum, And I guess we can have my presentation, because if you talk about meta universe, it's better to watch rather than talk. Just a second. So the prehistory of this is that I had a look at the leaflet with the word meta universe. It's good that this word is meta scaled. And me, as a representative of my company, I have my own positions in 3 years of our research. We understood what is the meta universe, and we started to use this for our business and for solving our tasks. First of all, I would like to explain what is included in this meta universe. So this is just the short presentation of myself, and the most important is that the first interview by YouTube was shooted by myself. I started to do this before Zuckerberg, and I decided to concentrate my activity around this point. Last year, I had my wedding in the meta universe, so it wasn't only the business case. I clicked, but it didn't work. Oh, it works. It works now. Probably I shall address the moderator so that they ensure the signal comes through. This is the presentation of my company. The main activity is the agency, and we are involved in meta universe creation, and we unite creators, and we are involved in the creative industry. Creators are those who know how to deal with the 3D aspects, and this is required for producing different projects. And of course, we try to make this popularize this. It means we need to introduce our project so that people are informed about. What is the meta universe in theory? In theory, we consider it as the evolution of the interface. It means we have the physical world, and this is our world in the past. And right now we started organizing the digital layer. And initially, this digital layer was developed by the TV, different gadgets, smartphones. Right now, we being at this event, we can make different posts in Instagram and other networks. So it means the meta universe is something that is that help us to be in a different universe, in the virtual reality. You've heard probably about VR glasses. It's not only linked to the meta universe. It helps us to create a different reality. It hasn't started last year or the year before, since Zuckerberg started to attribute himself the meta universe meaning. It was linked to the spiral technologies and help us to be connected to the meta universe to get the results we would like to get. As for from the technological point of view, the meta universe can appear on the age of internet. It depends, of course, on the speed, internet speed, for developing 3D and other tools. It means we use different technologies. to ensure the easiness for creators to ensure to put the content. As for the practical aspect, this is probably the more interesting aspect. As we speak about the meta-universe, I mean all those projects on the slide. Probably someone has heard about Roblox, and this is the big project that take a lot of space. Is somewhere aware about Roblox? Or there are people who have been informed about this project? Usually my audience is a bit elder and they are probably not aware about this, but they say the kids are informed because children buy virtual clothes and so on. In this project we have a big audience, about 65 million people. The platform is democratic and the audience probably is not so important, and they use different principles, more democratic principles. There is no the only regulator. And on this slide you can see, I think we should launch the video, and the video was in a separate file. So if we can have this video on the screen, the story in the video is about the content of the meta-universe, which is similar to the computer games of Robert Fortnite and other projects, but the meta-universe is a bit wider and it opens wider options, opportunities. It doesn't only help to be relaxed, but solve different business cases and to set up different events and conferences, weddings, for example, team buildings. So it means this is this space similar to the game space, but completed by different scenarios. There are games, there are different games, but let's see what would we get in 5 years and how it could be used in 5 years. We would like to get the video. Please launch the video. Great. In the beginning, you can see the meta-universes. This is meta sandbox. Please switch off the sound. Here we have voxel graphics. To create these graphics, you don't need to have any skill in 3D, just a few cubes to be put together and follow the same scenery. Here you can see that the scenery is a bit more complicated, but still it's not close to the reality, but it helps us to cover a larger audience. This is the land, and this is linked to the meta-universe. We have different brands that came. It's over. It's a quite short video. Probably not. That was probably the short version of the video. Now I have this. So this is about my wedding in Centraland. We had 500 guests. I didn't expect to get such a big audience, and 1,000 spectators watched this this online presentation. My wife asked me what I would like to do. I said that I was involved in the meta universe, and she suggested we did in this way. It's possible. It wasn't possible to do this in a with different tools like Zoom, for example. It didn't work for the FaceCam. They asked to produce this kind of showroom so that they have the final press conference and present the annual result. It was really funny when the president of the company, who is in different Forbes ratings, and he watched his avatar and presented the results of the company. This is the yacht. What kind of things we can build in the meta universe, the yacht, for example. And here you can see the company, the finance company, and they presented the figures. This is the tool to reunite people. And this is the project of hackathon, and it's about the possibility to get trained, to demonstrate skills. So we had the opportunity to build on men to demonstrate different abilities of meta universe. This is non-Euclid geometry. It's a quest where physical rules don't work. So you get disused to what you get to watch usually. This is about unusual things, and this last is about our office in the meta universe special, just the business case, traditional business case. We had our meeting, and to meet our clients. It's possible to make presentations. It's easy to set up it in the meta universe, so you can get access through smartphones. It doesn't mean you need to use VR glasses. You can get access easily, so I won't get into details. It's good that you introduced this tool. It's just the proper answer to what is the creative entrepreneurship. It's just to get new spaces. If we talk about creative entrepreneurship, we need to understand that Meta Universe is one of the platform, a big platform, because there are different, like Roblox and others. All those projects they're interested in get contacts, and the money is paid by brands for building for them different options. And Roblox, they pay 50% of the income created within the project. It looks like a blogger. The content can be created on YouTube. We have the rating on our site to check the money the creators got. Just one company got big money. So it means it's possible to own money through this tool, not only entertainment because of the entertainment. I suggest you subscribe to our YouTube channels because we introduce our different tools. Let's welcome colleagues, not only watch all those tools. The face of the creative school within the university named after Plekhanov. What will be difference of this face? And one of the person stated that it was about new technologies and linked to the digital economy. On the age of digital economy, digitalization, and creative industry. If you can be successful in this aspect, it would be good. However, the university provides the classical education, but right now we face a situation when we have different initiatives. I'm looking at Anastasia Semenova, who is representing art masters, and probably not all of you are aware about this art masters. Let's ask Anastasia to say a few words, and later on we will discuss your attitude toward this tool. Dear friends, I'm presenting art masters option of, and we work with the backstage representatives, those who are behind the scene, designers, costume designers, web designers, digital stuff. And I have the video that I would like to present to you, because this video can explain in details what we are doing with the sound. Big stage, it's not the dream. The big stage is just your reality. And you need just the only door. It masters. There are different images, and the fantasy can have wings, and this is a world where your talent can be accessible by the nation. With your talent or the courage of your dream, it's possible to realize all targets, obtain all targets. Thank you. By the way, on 14th of March, we have the new championship, and yeah, I invite you to join and to apply for the competencies you are interested in. I would like to say that as for some competencies, we have never got the competitions, and the winners will be awarded in terms of money, in terms of equipment. As for our event, we face the situation that one of the award is the certificate for 500,000 rubles, the second place 300,000 rubles, and the third one for 2,000 rubles. So we face the situation that not a lot of people use this option to realize that project, and not only they they don't know how to do this and to get this money. They don't understand what is the tax identification.
So people do not know what is an estimate. They don't know how to collect a team of people. They do not know how to interact with partners. Our expert Elena Kieper can confirm my words. Unfortunately, it's a sad situation. People are not educated in this respect. It's important for young people to have communication skills and knowledge. You will never create your product without this kind of skills. Other things that we would include in this list is ability to work in a team. We interact with our competitors, with all the people who are involved in this question, involved in this issue. So in Art Masters, you will meet the people whom you will be able to work in a team in future, and you build your social contacts. Tavrida project is also important. It's our strategic partner from the first year of our championship. It is important to have a reliable partner. When people do not know you, it's much more difficult to present yourselves. 10 years ago, I found it hard to find work for several months, not because I was a bad specialist, just people did not know me. I was a freelancer, and finally I got into several projects, and I could not cope with all the projects that were offered to me. So now the people who work in our projects find themselves in similar situation because there is a big demand from employers for young specialists, and young specialists also agree to do this because indeed we establish a bridge between employers and people who would find the work of their dream. So to summarize what I have said, we facilitate the work related to promoting young people who want to receive some necessary skills. These people need mentors at the first steps of their professional path. That's why this centralized niche that we are providing to people is very important. It helps people to receive also support from the state. I have Daniel Motin in my list. He is Art Masters Championship leader. He is the champion of the recent competition, and unfortunately he could not come over here because his schedule is now very busy. But we also have Alina here, who also was the winner in one of the nominations. Let us give the floor to Alina. So what about you? Do you think you will follow creative entrepreneurship? Hello, I'm Alina Ivanova. I'm the winner of the Open National Championship of Creative Skills, Art Masters, in 2021. My competence was a pop music composer. This was a very interesting experience for me. I never regret that I spent my time on that. We worked in a team of people whom we still keep up with, and we continue our communication. I also participated in an immersive project. Who was your mentor? Who was the head of your project? Elena Kipper. She was one of the producers. Then it's clear why you are here, so now I understand. We do a lot for the people who participate in our workshops. We try to establish some channels for them to continue their development in creative economics. Now I am the student of the department as Russian production in Academy. This year I relocated to Moscow. I'm very ambitious to continue my work. So since we mentioned Tavrida art cluster, I want all of you people who know what is Tavrida to raise your hands. So then let's turn to Dasha Yoda. She will speak more about the goals of this art cluster. So let me start with something else. We've been speaking of creative entrepreneurship. So honestly, there is no creative entrepreneurship in Tavrida. We're just speaking there of some personal development, of some areas where people can find something interesting for them. If we get back to creative entrepreneurship, I can tell you my personal experience, how it happened with me. I have a legal background, economic background. And my friend, he was a businessman at that time who was very much familiar with creative industries in modern art. This friend of mine decided to invest into some creative industry. He haven't chosen anything. He decided to set up his own creative space for creative entrepreneurs. So the two of us have been thinking how we can use this space in the most efficient way. We thought of the name for the project, how to implement it, because it was an investment project, it was a financial project. So we decided to call it Artnakh because it's in Nakhabino. It's in the Moscow region. It's from the word Nakhabino. With its certain meaning that we wanted to give to it. So Dasha said, I am the manager of Artnakh. So it was interesting for me to share this experience. My friend offered to me a certain amount of funds, and I applied all of my legal knowledge, all of my financial knowledge, all of my creative talents. So we wanted to attract as many people as we could. We wanted to make money, of course, and we wanted to have some creative people around us. We've been dreaming of something special, of something original. But these were not the people who came, they were not exactly the people who wanted to, whom we expected. In fact, we started this work for adults, but they were young people who came to study. So after that, our audience started changing. We started receiving older people who were already mature entrepreneurs. They were not exactly creative entrepreneurs, but those were the people who want to start some personal development. They want to change their life in some way, but they do not know exactly how to start this process. That's why we started thinking how to educate these people, how to offer creative products of these people to other recipients. At present, this space is operating right now. Unfortunately, commercially, it's not very successful. The investment did not pay back. We just maybe it's because we have to face a lot of other problems. It's not only the creative things that I have to do, because if you deal with space, with creative taste, it means that you will have to be involved in taxes and accounting and a lot of prosaic things. So you need to be prepared to that as well. So in the federal network of such creative environments, we want to help creative people to forget about some financial issues, some practical issues. We want them to dedicate the entire time to specifically creative activities. That's why this kind of space is needed. Not everyone can teach to operate in this environment on his own. So, as an art residence, we have become a platform for development of these people. We lease certain premises, and that's how we make money in our partner programs, in our partner projects. And designers, artists who came to us, these people have managed to achieve their goals. For instance, one nice case that I can mention is an entrepreneurship, an entrepreneur who wanted to make furniture.
Do we have a video? No. The video is about something else. Let's welcome Natalia. Natalia Ivanova-Dostoevskaya. I know you mostly as the producer of movie and cartoons, but however you accepted to be involved in this structure called the High School of Creative Industries. I understand that there are some plans to develop this structure, and the main question is about the recipe to form the entrepreneurials. Thank you for the question. First of all, I would like to draw your attention to the leaflets you got, and to have a look at leaflets with not only details of our program, which will be launched as the first one, but there are also links to our networks. Please subscribe, and we will share and we will update you about grants, master classes, and so on, competitions. Since 2001, I'm an active producer, and I started with since the beginning with cinemas that were re-equipped and relaunched. So I've seen the dynamics till today. As entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what kind of entrepreneur you are. The question about taxes, canalization, legal questions, and so on are important as the same level as the product, the final product. The one doesn't work with others. When I listen to Igor, I understand that some people try to create something, but they have not enough competencies, and they start with employment. There are a lot of infrastructure questions to ensure this works. I know all problems of producer work because I produce several hours of content on yearly basis. I would like to say that this is those jobs are changing based on the demand changing. Today we talk about meta universes, but 10 years ago we didn't have this demand. 10 years ago nobody were aware about Facebook, so we get involved to reunite all these competencies, and during the break we discussed to get updated all those competencies because they are changing. Several years ago, artificial intelligence wasn't interested to anybody, and everybody is crazy about GPT and other variations. I would like to ask the audience whether there is somebody who tried to make experiments with artificial intelligence to try to make models to change images. This is good. This is the permanent changing aspect. It helps us, and it makes us problems. because we need to formulate the meaning and to introduce us to the educational process. We try to work with a program, and we decided to focus on the digital economy because it's on the edge, and of course we look at the entrepreneurs. We thought over the program, a program to help the startups, to those who produce something but who didn't get the top level, especially in regions. In Moscow, it's obvious we have more resources, but in regions outside of Moscow, they have much less. So we would like to expand our networks and cover regions and formulate our depot online and offline. We have one of the partners who is in touch with us to discuss the day of opening doors, how to do this in VR. So we would like to present and ensure the test with everything available, tools available. As soon as we have something available on the market, try it. We have thought about a laboratory where all softs, all meta-universes or any other new algorithms could be experimented. To engage focus groups, and I invite you to join them to try how it works. As usually, it doesn't work with a huge quality, but still those algorithms can be educated. As a conclusion, I can speak about this topic for a long time, but don't worry, I can interrupt you at any time. So I would like to say that we've got the initiative and to launch the search of a new methodology. When people work with Problex or other tools, so I'm sure people are interested in make experiments and in working on different projects. So I would like to ensure our space is the point of meeting of young professionals and real professionals. Let's welcome this. I think this is amazing, and I think that we are ready to cooperate with you in this way. Elena Kipper, I would like to introduce her again. When I need to read all those titles, I am just confused. I would like to say, if I need to introduce you, I would say that this person is involved in creative entrepreneurship since a while. She produced You Cannot Catch Us and other things. She produced Tattoo, and she's producing other singers, and we say that she's the manager of the program. This is just secondary activities. It means you can create something new and produce something new. And the question is, the creative producing, is this about money, about senses? What is this for you? What is your intrinsic feeling? Because you're an entrepreneur with the big E. What is this about? What is this about? Right now I'm in at the university named after Plekhanov. When I was 12 years old, my parents didn't have enough money, and I said to my parents I would learn to the job of product manager at Plekhanov University. I'll get money and I will ensure you have food. This is quite funny now to think about. This is quite emotional because entrepreneurship is in my blood. My entrepreneurship pushed me to get developed. And I have people of your age coming to my courses, and I can see most of them are not motivated. I have discovered this recently. They are not motivated because you have comfortable conditions of living, and parents can support you significantly, and you need to have the motivation when you need to have something, but you cannot have allow yourself to have black days, a black hole. For me, it was the motivating point. When I was 15 years old, I understood the entrepreneurship can help me to change something. I decided to become a journalist. I read articles of journalists, and it was possible at this time to have different means of articles. I decided to join the journalistic faculty of
So they do not compare each other in terms of needs, in terms of personal needs. And it means that they're not part of creative economy. You do not monetize creative economy. That's how it looks for myself. So when I was 15, I took the decision, and when I was 16, I went to work on the radio because I wanted to make my product, my own product. So my first salary was enough for tomato juice, my coffee, and my bread. But anyway, it was my independent money, it's my independent work. So it was the idea first. The idea came first. So I decided maybe I should go to foreign media to work, because I was already 17 years old. And I didn't even know English at all at that time. I studied German at school. So I came to Reuters company. I became a director for adaptation of foreign content. So I was processing the news, I was cutting the news, and I was broadcasting news. So in a year's time, after this idea came to my mind, I made my first dreams come true. So later on, all this creative information brought me to music, brought me to other areas where I achieved certain results with the group called Tattoo. It was my first project. I produce brands. I think of some project from point zero, but I evaluate the information environment. I try to understand how it will work in the future. Yesterday I had a meeting in Zoom with people who thought of starting animation TV series. They thought that only few of them achieve big audience. But now, when I hear about meta universe, I believe that this shouldn't be a barrier for young people. These shouldn't be some simple solutions. This should be something that will represent your step beyond certain barriers, of course with due consideration with the needs of the audience. And there is some personal things that you need to discuss, maybe with your problems, maybe problems with parents, problems in your team. So when you analyze the needs of the audience, the urgent problems, maybe their fears and other things, you will think of how you can help these people with your hope, your love, and your faith. And in this way you will be able to not only to make money, but to bring your mission. Mission is in the heart of every project. because you follow the needs of your soul. So my conclusion is the following: if your soul, if your inner personality demands something, and there is an audience who have the same feeling, for sure you will be successful, because you will be honest with yourself, honest with your audience, and you will be able to adjust this complex of feelings and emotion as a product. So this is my system of entrepreneurship. So Natasha, what did you want to specify? Не, давай я продолжу. So I want to add in this connection. So Jung used to write that if you do not implement your creative talents, this would burn you inside out, and this is something that you need to develop and you need to bring to life if you're a talented person. Thank you very much for mentioning animation at this panel. In fact, animation is a process which takes 2 or 3 years of your life in order to make animation TV series, animation projects. Now everyone went crazy to accelerate everything. So the main thing that is the drive of today's creative economics is not only looking for some new intellectual property or intellectual product, but also to accelerate, to find ways to accelerate these processes. I believe that we need to discuss this. As a producer, I always have to answer questions of TV channels. Everyone says quickly is important, quickly and much, quickly and much, quickly and much. Let me please readdress this question to Igor. Igor, since I've been involved in cinema industry, in movies, in educational movies, we are very inspired with the example, with the case in Yakutia. Igor said that he was very inspired with the experience in Kyrgyzia. I believe you mentioned acceleration. We have been talking a lot, and there should be some specific steps made forward. So what do you think could be a specific practical step to develop creative industry? There is a number of structural processes which form the basis, form the economic basis within our sector. For instance, today we have to think how to export products. Now there are a lot of barriers due to geopolitical situation. It's a very painful topic. In short, creative industries are formed on the basis of export and import and the various trans-border processes. That's why every producer has to go beyond his region I can mention the taxi company which was founded in Yakutia. Unfortunately, this company had to leave the market because a lot of chains were stopped, were discontinued due to geopolitical situation. Because a lot of people who worked there relocated to Kazakhstan. So this is something that we have to face today. In various situations, we have to preserve the assets that we accumulated. In our case, it is very important to consider everything related to taxation. We have 14 creative industries. The priorities are IT, music, and cinema. The rest of the areas, the rest of the industries are not perceived in a very serious way, and unfortunately it's all based on some personal connections, but it's not a system yet. You know, we need to make it a system, to make it a school. If we take IT school, IT is really strong here. Let's mention Mail.ru. Let's mention Yandex. So these are very successful projects, and they are autonomous. They do not depend on the general situation. When we think of setting up conditions for entrepreneurship activities, their inter-ministry connection are especially important, and so far those connections have not yet been built well enough to make the communication easy. I would say that now we have no communication at all, and there should be lots of actions undertaken to make the various spheres interact with each other, especially in cooperation with the state officials, with ministries, with municipal bodies in the region. So every region should set up the development centers, such as we now have in Kaliningrad, Krasnoyarsk, Ulyanovsk, Yakutia. But this is not enough. We have more than 10 regions in Russia. We have about 90 regions. That's why this work has started, and not every official is ready to perceive this, because we mentioned mentality. Officials in the regions of Russia do not believe that there is some future, some serious money in this kind of sector. A lot of people are lazy now to learn such things as art masters, as taurida. They should be better known, and they should be better promoted. There should be some support institutions for this kind of projects. We have the Presidential Foundation for Cultural Initiative. Even if you do not win in this contest, you can form it. You can use it as a basis for your future product if you participate in this contest or competition. So I receive a lot of letters from entrepreneurs, from business people, and they ask me where to go.
It's possible to come back to me. The question on behalf of this person is responsible for the animation studio. What is the PFKI? And I suggested he go to the Google, and he came back in one day. He found what was the PFKI, and he asked what a specific project you can list that was supported by the Institute of Internet Development. So it means the person didn't do the simple actions, open the web page, open different details of this website to get information about the project. And right now it doesn't work at the level of the head of companies. Those small nuances, what people are ready to do, then specify how fast we move. So this is the complex work. All participants of this event, the complex relationship when people are interconnected in different projects to create the common mentality and common tools that right now are different in different industries as well as at the level of the country. Dear friends, probably you have questions. Don't hesitate to ask. Thank you. Thank you very much for your interesting presentations. I've learned something new. I would like to ask you one personal question and get your reaction because many of you have read those topics. I've learned from Elena and from Anastasia things I'm interested in. Regarding the interdepartmental cooperation, how to work in creative industries, and how to set up teams. Right now, I'm the postgraduate of the university named after Plekhanov, and I was the winner of several competitions of Russia, the country of opportunities. My previous experience was with the oil and gas industry. Understood that mechanical jobs are not interested for me, and I would like to apply for the grant of Earth Молодежь and apply with a topic about. I won't probably provide more details about this topic. So I would like to get your position with regards to the human resources. All questions we have raised, they're more or less related to the human resources. As for our generation, I can see that there are a lot of people who burn out. There are a lot of things that are linked to the medium. There are institutes with working independently with the creative industry, but there is no interaction. So it means where to find human resource project schools where it's possible to get experience at the level of intercooperation. Is it whether you consider the space where people with different competencies can interact? And the question is addressed to everybody. Probably I shall start. This is a good idea to reunite specialists. Last week I went to I visited the Kremlin Palace to shoot several presentations at this stage, and I faced several problems because to produce the creative work overages we need to have a specialist of good skills. We don't have 3 weeks to work on, and I was shocked. I understood when I get questioned what kind of specialist are required by the creative industry, not creators, by people who are not indifferent, who understand what they need to this, who understand the whole logistic chain. And this place is in demand because this is point of power. We need to think over a lot of things, how people can get connected. The only network isn't enough for this purpose. Unfortunately, the lady doesn't speak with a microphone. I cannot hear. Yes, you can approach everybody of us and ask for the business card. There is a question. Stepan Zhurin, High School of Finances. First of all, thank you very much, dear speakers. I would like to thank Elena especially, and my question is addressed to Igor because it was incited by Igor's presentation. How this your courses is integrated with the 3D digitalization, and Leon, how did it impacted the development? I mean the brain drain. First of all, we can only identify the local locations that should be considered as deconsolidation, and this is in the purpose of the creative industry. So it means we are able to identify places with creative people location. As example, I can give you the Japan. When during the pandemic, we had the break of tourist flags. They maintain the regional level with peculiarities, with history. We have this stuff too, but nobody doesn't understand how to evolve this into the monetary field. We studied the Pskov region, and we tried to look into the local level development. We identified how the peculiarities at the local level, and the purpose of region to identify the creative possibilities development. Right now we work with all 14 purposes, but we need to identify the key ones. Hopefully we have leaders like Kaliningrad, Krasnoyarsk, Yakutsk, Ulyanovsk, and they demonstrate that there are 3 to 4 options that could be developed. It takes time, several years. As for the brain drain, based on my experience, based on the feedback we got from the regions, it's about 30%. Does it impact? Yes, it does, because the more successful people leave, and they have experience and skill, and they're sure to find a job outside of Russia. But we didn't take into consideration the people who came back. There are people who left, but we don't know how many came back, and there is some people who got development. Of course, it's important to create conditions to keep these people. And this should be done at the federal level. Right now, we cannot solve this problem. How does it impact? Yes, it does. And the impact is mostly on the atmosphere. The Center of Creative Industry Development, the main activity of the center was the therapeutic activities. We explain that the life is going on, and we maintain the therapy at our level, and we launch the channel red button at the FKE, and this is the channel of good news and sustainable development. This is the complex approach, and we understand that right now we are moving, and we cannot analyze what is going on. There is a kind of turbulence, and we measure the situation from time to time. Thank you very much. Other questions? If I would be asked about the creative entrepreneurship, I would say that this is about creating something new. As for any entrepreneurship, they need to involve different resources, and to get more resources at the end of the project. I would say this is not about to get money, but about to get the new value. Creative resources, new creative resources, entrepreneurial resources created by those creative industries. In case we compare where are creative industries with creative economy, I thought previously that creative industry can launch different processes in the economy, including nuclear industry, biotech, different industries, because creative people are required by all industries to create new products and to launch new markets. The creative economy is wider, and creative industries are minority that need to have good conditions to protect them so that they are not lost in the huge mess of different processes. We need to keep to create to maintain the creative community, existing creative community. In case of Brandain, this is a huge loss. If we talk about regionalization, we can have a different point of view because the context has changed. We need to review our approaches that we thought attractive some time ago. We need to review to get new opportunities, and the forum that we are attending at the university and questions raised by this forum with regards to the development, creative industries development and digitalization are very important. I stated them at the beginning as from scratch, but we still have the same question, and we try to find new answers and to try to find new opportunities because we are under development and we would like to get some new quality with every step. What we had, it wasn't just words. I would like to thank participants. Even for us, it was really informative, and this is just the resume of my resume. I would like to give the floor to Dmitry. I would like to thank participants. I hope this is just the beginning of our cooperation because the Creative School is just relaunching with new targets, with new objectives. I would like to thank you, dear friends, who you got this information, and I hope you won't get lost in this information space, and you will get subscribed to the red button and other options. You all visited web pages of Tavrida, of Art Masters, and of Meta Universe, because once plunged into this information, as I said, all new is born at the edge of different industries. So I think you would be able to make the next step, not only talk about this. Thank you very much. Speakers are invited to take a picture.